On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. JD Vance is rocking and rolling. We've got that moving forward. I've got Iran's looking like it's getting real close to getting a little crazy. We'll see that happen. Oddly, Mexico, we're not, I don't know. I feel like we should be hearing more from them, and I'm not seeing a lot of stuff popping up just yet, so kind of interesting on that as well. Again, a lot to talk about, and certainly some stuff from the State of the Union we're going to be chit-chatting about as well. Let's get the ball rolling. This is weird. It's supposedly a mud volcano erupting in San Juan de Urabá, Colombia. Residents are evacuating. It looks like an explosion, but I've never seen a mud volcano. I don't even know what the hell that is.
Yelena!
Ahí me lo pasa ahí. Así pasa que tiene mundo, muchacho.
Ay, ¿eso dónde?
Volcán.
So I don't know if a mud volcano is like a natural gas volcano or something. I don't know. That was a pretty big explosion. That is for sure. But yeah, whatever the case is. Fortunately, it didn't sound like anybody was injured. This is a story that I'm more or less bringing up for the headline, not necessarily the story itself. As you can see, I can't get into it because I refuse to give these guys my email address. But DHS says ICE agents will not be stationed at polling places during midterms. One rumor that I just felt that I was going to start, not on my show per se, just in real life when I talk to people, and it's going to be alleged. I've heard, and what I've heard, again, I'm making this up. I've not heard this, but this is something I'm going to be using in the near-term future. I've heard that DHS is not necessarily going to be at voting locations, though I've heard they're actually going to be kind of hiding nearby, kind of, like incognito. I've also heard that they're going to be paying close attention to people that vote that aren't citizens. I don't know. It's what I've heard. I've heard they're definitely going to be paying attention to that. And this is, like I said, a rumor I'm going to be starting. I haven't actually heard any of this stuff. It's all made up. But if you understand how people's minds work and how many of these people don't want to get sent back home, just think of how many people we could easily scare away from the voting booth, right? Maybe they'll think twice about voting, especially in the next election or even primaries or anything for that matter. Just something to think about. All right, a lot of stuff going on with the State of the Union, the infamous silence as the left did not stand when it should have been for American citizens instead of illegal immigrants, and they chose to sit for American citizens. Well, that's going to haunt them, and we've got a number of things that are talking about that. Let's get into those.
It shows their true colors, Sean. President Trump set the Democrats up in a trap, and they fell right into it because they cannot help themselves. They truly stand on the side of the tens of millions of illegal aliens who they allowed to pour in to our nation's open borders under the Biden administration. They truly stand on the side of career criminals who have gone to jail not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 12 times in the case of the young woman in North Carolina whose neck was slit by a career criminal who was released back onto the streets in North Carolina by Democrat policies, and they could not even stand for her heartbroken mother, who President Trump was commending last night. They couldn't even stand for a young girl who is now suffering a brain problem for the rest of her life because of an illegal alien truck driver who smashed into her family's vehicle. It was so despicable to be in that chamber and to watch as these Democrats really did show their true colors. But to your point, the president, it was a brilliant idea. It was his idea to put that into the speech, and it proved to be right because he wanted the American people to know that this is a choice between common sense and President Trump and Republicans and crazy radical Democrats who stand for nothing except for being against Donald Trump.
And not standing for American citizens. I mean, just appalling. And again, it's not going to poll well. People are not going to, this is not something they're going to be able to let everyone forget about. No, because we're going to take advantage of it. That is for sure. This guy's been shot 4 times in the legs, and yet he stood when Democrats wouldn't. Just think about that for a second. Dude got shot in the leg 4 times, and he wanted to stand for his commander-in-chief, certainly. It's disgusting what these people did. Well, I guess we had this Republican rep, Kat Kamak. Is every person named Kat, they got to be overweight? Is that a thing? Wasn't the singer also? Anyway, whatever. Kat Kamek sat deep inside the Democrat side of the chamber during Trump's speech so that cameras would show none of the Dems around her were clapping. She got some good video, I believe. Check this out.
So we actually have a little something tonight for our friends on the left, and you'll have to tune in to see what we're planning. I think that that's really what people saw last night, was that clear divide of people who are willing to stand up for America and those that are going to sit on their hands. And so you saw that clear divide in the room. I was the only Republican sitting on the Democrat side because I believe you need to lead by example. We're willing to stand for America, and they just want to sit it out. That is what America needs to think about when they go to vote in these November midterms. America is back, baby. We are so excited. I might go run through the Capitol playing Freebird.
Kat, if you could sit anywhere you want, why didn't you just go sit on Omar? Like, literally sit on her. That would have been cool. I don't know, just thinking. We got this also as well, a grilling moment for the congressional Democrats as they refuse to stand for serving American citizens over illegal aliens. It's going to fight them forever. And of course, this is going to be running majorly in the campaigns to come.
These people are crazy.
That spot was cut by a conservative group and will run nationally and target races in several key states. This headache for Democrats now may stretch beyond the midterm elections. A potential presidential candidate already put it on spotlight. Watch.
Look, it's not typical the opposition party stands and claps for every moment, but on that line, would you have?
The president had a choice last night: to speak to the American people or to spar with those in the chamber, to either try to unite our country or further sow division.
Yeah, no, that's, again, you guys keep trying to make it play like that, but he's uniting more of the country than you all are, and you all are not uniting the country. You're actually divisive, and people are seeing it. It's all good. Thune's talking about the GOP is not unified on this talking filibuster for the SAVE Act. He says they frankly, don't have the votes right now. I want, and as well as Mike Lee, let's get those votes. Let's find out who it is. Because we need to know who in the Senate is not going to make it through another election. Please, senators, show us who is not okay with the SAVE Act. I get the Democrats aren't going to vote for it, but I want to see which senators are never, ever, ever going to get back into office. Please, show us who you are. Make life easy for all of us. Otherwise, vote on the SAVE Act. And again, we're already going to lose a few of them, right? I'm already drawing a blank on Mr. Kentucky that never votes with the Republicans. He's already dead to me. Rand Paul. Yeah, he's obviously going to vote no. Probably considers it illegal. Probably considers it over the top. Probably some stupid thing. Get him on record. Get them on record. We want to see who each and every one of them are, because they will never win another election again. Here's Senator Rick Scott trying to surge support for the GOP pieces of crap that refuse to support this great act.
I loved it. I love that the president was so on board with the State of the Union address for the Save America Act to secure elections. All right. Now, if you support this, you should share this and also call every politician you know and say, pass the Save America Act.
Yeah, it's ugly how this is going to play out. So we'll put the pressure on. It's what we got to do, right? Fusion power. Trump's talking about it. We need to get it here. We need to be first on it. Fusion power is really going to be the nuclear power of the future. It is significantly safer than current fission nuclear power that's very heavily used. Also a lot easier to spin up. All that said, they're pushing to figure it out first. It's been done, but commercialized, and really be able to kind of bring it down in size and all that kind of stuff. So they are working on that. Whoever pulls it off, China's definitely racing against us. What'll be tricky for China is that they won't be able to steal the technology from us anymore. So they're going to have to kind of figure some of this stuff out on their own now, because their spy network is not going to be as effective as it once was. So all that said, this is one of the main directions we're moving. We all know we need power, especially if we're going to go into any of this AI and any of these data centers and any of the stuff that needs to go into all that. And frankly, we're going to need data centers that are crazy because we're likely going to start to be involved in traveling outside of this planet, which should be pretty exciting too. So I know many don't believe that probably, but I think at some point in our not too distant future, we will see opportunities to find out for yourself. Targeted by lawsuits and demonized, big oil signals it had enough with fight against California's Attorney General. What's funny is California Attorney General is doing kind of their standard stuff on the left, and they're trying to slime companies, trying to claim that they're gouging the customer when there was zero evidence at the time they were gouging, and then after the investigation, there was zero evidence found that they were gouging. Well, the oil companies are pissed about it and have now actually sued the state of California, specifically Rob Bonta, and for essentially sliming their reputation, which is not cool. And they tried to drop the case, California, saying that Rob Bonta was operating as an attorney general when he did it, so he has immunity. And the court's like, no, you don't. So this is going to be a very interesting case where we might find out that even people operating within their quote-unquote jobs still can't slime companies, still can't slime people. You can't make things up if you don't have evidence of it. If you make something up that's deleterious to another company, that is against the law. You can't do it. So yes, there's a big problem for Attorney General Rob Bonta, and I'm sure many other blue attorney generals. Also in California, we've got a registered child sex offender running for city council. This dude's literally a convicted child sex. He's like, just try to forget my past and let's look forward and let me help out Fresno City. Now, just understand, we've got so many pedophiles that already seem to exist in government. Why would you knowingly bring one more in? This individual, I don't think, should be able to run. I think he should be embarrassed out of the race. Absolutely inconceivable that we would put a registered child sex offender with all of the crazy stuff going on where they're trying to take away kids from their parents, certainly trying to split families up if the stepfather, or the father, if they're divorced and he doesn't use the preferred pronouns, literally the state can take the kid away from them. So this is the type of stuff we cannot let happen. So this dude's name, Rene Campos, he definitely should not be able to win. What do we got here? Punk with a rap sheet was arrested in New York PD. This is the guys that were throwing snowballs at the cops. Again, a lot of people would be like, well, it's just snowballs. How do they know that? How do they know there's nothing else in it? And then where does it stop being fun? First off, you're not allowed to throw stuff at people. That's technically assault, period. End of story. It doesn't matter if you meant fun by it. And, what's to keep this from being Slurpees? Snow, it's not going to hurt you. Slurpee's not going to hurt you. Where's the line drawn? So anyway, this is basically what they were putting up with. So anyway, you get the point. Yeah, a lot of crazy going on, and we've got Mom Donnie that's basically saying, it's just snowballs, which is not okay. In fact, the police police commissioner Jessica Tisch is calling it disgraceful and criminal. Mayor of Mondami is like, it's just snowball fight. No, not in that city. Not with a man that's actually trying to defund law enforcement. New York is definitely screwed. That's for sure. Interesting day in the stock market. Silver's down a little bit, which we've been talking about how it was going to happen. I figured we'd finish off the week with it. I wasn't sure if we'd have one big giant day down or what, but it's not getting hammered as nearly as bad as I was expecting. Earlier in the day, I think it was down like $3-4. But yeah, it's come up a lot. Gold was down much the same, and it's coming back interestingly. Let's see, crypto is always fun to look at. So Bitcoin's sitting around 67, though it'll probably change here in a second. I expect it to anyways. It usually does. But yes. Yeah, it's had a down day as well. But it's been kind of, I don't know. It's been creeping 63 to 68, kind of back and forth. Been in between that for a couple weeks now, it seems. Dow's reasonably flat. Everything's kind of meh. Gold's down a teeny, like we said. Oil was up a little. Now it's down a little. This is something that I think the deep state's really desperately trying to drive up, as you can kind of see on the graph. And they've just not been successful with it. There's other factors at work that are affecting markets. So hopefully we can hang on control, but we'll see how it all plays out. Now, again, do we want the Federal Reserve to stay there? No. And we need a reason to get rid of them. So I don't know how that all plays out. That kind of almost has to have something weird happen. All that said, if you've got a 401k or an IRA, I highly recommend you consider getting out of their system, or at least investing a bunch out of that system. And what you're doing is you're protecting buying power. Whatever you can get right now, however much precious metals you can get right now, you will protect that amount of buying power. So say, for example, you're able to move $10,000. I just use small numbers. Whatever you can buy with $10,000 today, that amount of precious metal, you'll continue to be able to buy that same amount of stuff 10 years, 5 years, whatever. It'll hold the value, and you'll continue to be able to buy. Your purchasing power stays the same. Back in 1913, this would buy me a handmade tailored suit. Today, this will buy me a handmade tailored suit. This cost $20 back then, Federal Reserve notes. And this today costs 5,200 Federal Reserve notes. It's still one tailored suit. Buying power. Your dollars are losing buying power every single day. It's called inflation, but it happened badly during the Biden administration. 25% of your buying power went down in 4 years. 25%, literally. DRSlikesgold.com. While the prices of gold and silver are reasonably low, because they're not staying there, and while the stock market's in pretty good shape, take advantage of it. This is one of those moments where if you wait too long, you're waiting for that, I'm going to do it right in time. First off, it takes a couple weeks to get this done. It's not simple. You don't just do it in one day. It takes a few days. There's things that got to happen, signatures that got to occur, processes, right? First, you move the money sideways, tax-free and penalty-free, right? They put it into some sort of account. Then they take that account, that money, and they buy precious metals with it. They put that into a trust for you. So all of these things kind of got to happen. There's a lot of steps along the way. Go to DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Get that process started while it's getting good, if you know what I mean. Also, while precious metals are still able to be gotten, and they've got a number of suppliers at Goldco. They're awesome. Go to DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. If you can actually fill out the 4 data points, if you qualify and can call within 20 minutes when you click the button, little timer will pop up and a phone number to call. If you can do that, you're going to get a free Ronald Reagan coin, too. That's super cool. It's half ounce, 0.999% pure silver, and, Ronald Reagan saluting on it. Pretty cool stuff. Go to DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system while you can, that's for sure. Fulton County DA Fannie Willis's office has received a bunch of money from Joe Biden. We're going to listen to the dude from Just the News. I forget his name. He'll be telling us about this. Check it out.
And on that note, a second story that I know you probably heard about, it was trending all day on social media. We're calling it the Fannie Files. That's right. Georgia's former prosecutor, the current Fulton County District Attorney, Fannie Willis, was indeed plotting all along with the Biden White House, the Biden Justice Department, and the January 6th Democrat Committee to plan her case against Donald Trump and his associates, those who were involved in protesting election results. Now, we all think in America we have protection from double jeopardy, meaning we're not going to be prosecuted twice for the same crimes. But what you see in the new documents that Just the News obtained with the help of the America First Legal Institute, tremendous public interest law firm, we spent 3 years fighting for these documents. Fannie Willis claimed they were privileged, claimed they should be redacted, claimed we weren't entitled. We ultimately won them. 8,000 pages in all. You got to see them this morning. Is that the Biden White House worked with Fannie Willis and said, listen, we'll pierce President Trump's executive privilege. You can have anything you want. Now, that's very rare. Executive privilege is almost never pierced for a state prosecution or state civil case. Secondly, the Justice Department said, you want access to our people? No problem. We'll sign 2 agreements and allow you to get our best people to testify before your state grand jury. Then the January 6th Ethics Committee said, come on down, get any documents you want, any videos you want. We'll help you make the case. That happens. Then, as you're going to learn tomorrow, Fani Willis's office was offered a grant. Literally, the Justice Department said, hey, just apply for this grant. We'll give it to you as a sole source. All right, so some money is exchanging during the same time frame. And then Jack Smith brings his federal case against Donald Trump. And then right after it, Fani Willis, just a few weeks later, brings a state case, basically double jeopardizing Donald Trump and all of his colleagues in these cases, double draining the legal resources and the reputational stock that those people had by twice indicting them, and then creating a dual-barreled investigation and prosecution. Now, at the end of the day, both cases ended up getting dismissed, as you know. But millions of dollars in legal bills were spent, reputations were ruined, and now we're seeing a triumvirate, a triple-headed siren working together. Congressional Democrats, Justice Department, and White House under Biden working with a Democrat prosecutor in Georgia to create that scenario. Pretty significant and serious stuff. Lots of people reacting to that.
More and more stuff's going to continue to come out with the with all of this, with the Jack Smith and with everything. Probably with again, Congress members is coming. But they're going to get there, I think, once they start demonstrating how much of a conspiracy is going on. Then we start getting into some of the Adam Schiff stuff and everything else, right? So this is going to be fun building process that's certainly occurring, and we're living through. The Biden DOJ and Jack Smith's Arctic frost scandal got a little worse. I guess they found out that the Biden White House was directly working with these guys. Also, that they pulled Kash Patel's records. They pulled a whole bunch of people's records. Not good, for sure. Notably, the FBI subpoenas and recording activities occurred as the Biden Department of Justice Special Counsel Jack Smith had taken over the Arctic frost investigation into President Donald Trump and the Capitol riots on January 6th. The National Pulse has previously reported that Smith is accused of abusing his power, yada, yada. Let's see, friendly budget judges like Boasberg and Beryl Howell to attain orders preventing phone carriers from notifying the lawmakers that their records had been subpoenaed. And again, James Boasberg is tied into all this. Why do you think he's continuing to basically break the law or skirt the law? Because he's so implicated in all of this. He's waist deep in this, in the swamp. There's no getting it off him. We all know it. We all see it. There's no hiding it. So he's continuing. So again, we're seeing all the players who have been involved. And they, of course, were spying on Susie Wiles as well, the current White House Chief of Staff, I think her title is. Biden judge strikes down Trump's rapid deportations to third countries. Big shocker. Judge in Boston. What's their name? Judge Brian Murphy. Oh, yeah. Judge Murphy's been there a bunch of times. So there's like 5 of them for sure. Probably 10 to 15 total that are total doucheholes, but 5 that are really bad, I think. Maybe 7, but whatever. Around there. And again, don't get hung up on the numbers. 17 of them. I don't know what the actual number is. Supreme Court, this is just stupid. So they've previously intervened twice in this case. Initially lifting the preliminary injunction in favor of illegal immigrants facing deportation, and later permitting the deportations of 8 men to South Sudan. Murphy was bench-slapped at one point for having failed to give effect to a Supreme Court order concerning the case. Here we are again. Find out. I don't know. Maybe people feel, because of the Supreme Court case that recently happened against Trump on tariffs, maybe a lot of these judges feel empowered, like, ooh, cool, like they got control of the Supreme Court, finally. Now we can finally do what needs to be done. I don't know. Again, how it plays out is how it plays out. I think there's some bad ones. I think we're supposed to see it because that's what's happening. So they're going to get busted at some point. At some point, it's going to matter. When and how, I don't know. I'm with you guys. Like, I've asked this question to a bunch of you guys. Who knows? The Supreme Court doesn't seem to want to do anything about it. That's not a surprise. I think everybody thinks Trump is temporary, so they don't really want to do anything because he's going to be gone soon, and they believe that they're going to be able to continue once he's gone. All they got to do is sweat it out. I believe the most important election we're going to have is the next election, and then certainly the one after that, just making sure that we can maintain what we started. But this coming election is going to be extraordinarily important. And also, for all you guys that are out in Texas, you guys have your primary going on. Please get out and vote, please. Very important that we make sure Cornyn is not able to win, I could see him putting stuff all over the place that if he doesn't win, that the Democrats will take charge. Cornyn is one of the worst things that's happened to Texas. That mofo's got to go. You guys got to get him out of there, and that's the primary. That vote matters almost more than the frickin' vote that's coming later. Get that mofo out of there. I believe it's Paxton. It's probably the one we want to give a chance. Again, it's not my state, but please get Cornyn the fudge out of there. Utah, you guys got issues. Indiana, I think you got something coming up. I think we'll talk about you here at some point. Because Trump did mention a few of you guys. And again, I don't know what all's going on election-wise. It's hard enough to keep track of my own state and what I'm supposed to stay responsible to. But all that said, here is Vance talking about suspicious stuff that's been happening, money being wasted. I think we got a couple of these clips.
We're announcing today that we have decided to temporarily halt certain amounts of Medicaid funding that are going to the state of Minnesota in order to ensure that the state of Minnesota takes its obligations seriously to be good stewards of the American people's tax money. Now, what is this going to mean? What this means is that, first of all, the providers on the ground in Minnesota have actually already been paid. The state has paid those providers the money. What we're doing is we are stopping the federal payments that will go to the state government until the state government takes its obligations seriously to stop the fraud that's being perpetrated against the American taxpayer.
Yeah, basically fix it or you're not getting any more money. So here's some more of the discussions of just Dr. Oz.
Adjudicated numbers. There's a fraud scheme in Minnesota where criminals, soon to be criminals, pay moms $1,000 roughly in order to enroll their children as being autistic, falsely, dishonestly claiming their children are autistic. They then bill Medicaid, this has already happened, millions of dollars for services that were never rendered, never delivered by a qualified staff member. These schemes disproportionately involve immigrant communities. They're insulated, they're able to organize efforts, and sometimes they don't understand what's going on. And it ultimately diverts resources away from kids who truly have autism. Because if every kid in the neighborhood has autism, then nobody has autism in terms of how you can manage them. There was one behavioral, and by the way, these kids, they carry that diagnosis of autism the rest of their lives. Their mom made a bad decision, the kid pays the price for the rest of their life. There's one behavioral health organization, Mr. Vice President, in Minnesota. They received $11.5 million in Medicaid payments, but the top biller submitted 450 days where they claimed they were working more than 24 hours a day. I mean, even in the White House, that's tough. It's hard to work more than 24 hours a day. How it didn't get picked up is shocking to us at CMS. There are other red flags in Minnesota, including hundreds of beneficiaries receiving treatment linked to one location, which was impossible physically to be true. We had 8 beneficiaries in one of these substance use disorder centers, 8 who were already dead, but the center was still billing us. Not only did they let the person pass, they kept billing for it. That's the level of average we're talking about. So CMS is done paying and chasing. We don't think jail sentences are the right way out. These criminals flee the country. Many are foreign nationals. Instead, we're launching the largest action against fraud that we've ever taken. The money's not going to ever leave the building again. We're going to start draining the swamp of the crooks that have inhabited it and are defrauding us. There are 3 bold actions. The first, and for many of you maybe the most important, is we're going to, for the first time, take a massive action to defer funds to a state. Let's start with this Medicaid program in Minnesota, which serves pregnant women. Medicaid takes care of our children. 53% of kids are born into poverty. They're supported through Medicaid. Disadvantaged seniors, individual with disabilities. It's unponderable that you would take advantage of these precious programs, yet they're putting it at risk, all of it, by stealing the money. So it's our duty to preserve Medicaid, and what we're going to do is identify the scammers, which we have done in Minnesota. We've identified that they've hijacked, in particular, a certain part of the Minnesota Medicaid system. Said differently, and I'll just put the numbers out there, it's going to be $259 million of deferred payments for Medicaid to Minnesota, which we're announcing as I speak to Governor Walz and his team. And that's based on an audit of the last 3 months of 2025. Restated, $250 million is not going to be paid this month to Minnesota for its Medicaid claims. Now that's $250 million of money. That's your money. It's your taxpayer money. And these home and community-based services, which again are services that are typically things you would do for your family, but for whatever reason your family's not there to provide them, are very hard to audit. And for that reason, there's been a lot of slippage. The guardrails have not been well maintained, and if you're not serious about the integrity of the program, you'll see these problems happening in your state, which is why Minnesota's not alone, although they're the first to receive this action. These high-growth areas of fraud are difficult to police, so we require the states to take these issues seriously. This $250 million deferment is hopefully going to get on the radar screen for the state of Minnesota and make sure they are responsive to our requests. We did what any honest and patient-focused agency would do. We have notified the state and that we will give them the money, but we're going to hold it and only release it after they propose and act on a comprehensive corrective action plan to solve the problem. If Minnesota fails to clean up the systems, the state will rack up $1 billion of deferred payments this year. Governor Walz has 60 days, sir, to respond to our letter. And if providers and beneficiaries are worried about getting their money and services, please call your governor. These are services the governor has already paid for. We are just not reimbursing the state. And to make it clear, there is a rainy day fund in Minnesota, so we are very confident that people will not be hurt in Minnesota. This is not a problem with the people of Minnesota, it's a problem with the leadership of Minnesota and other states who do not take Medicaid preservation seriously.
And this is really the biggest problem that we've got with this is you want to stop the funds, and everyone's like, stop it. You got to just stop the funds. But that's kind of illegal, and there are actual legitimate people that are getting them. So how do you fix that? And pushing back on the state's a smart way to go about it. I think this is meant to kind of work into that general direction. Also to get them to work with us. It's like, we'll identify the people if you let us. But we can't just give you money that you're just going to squander. We can't. So you got to come to the table and work something out. So we'll see. And by the way, I don't know if you can. He used a word, unponderable. I love it. Ponder I've used, pondered I've used. Never once in my life have I ever used ponderable, and certainly never in my life have I ever used unponderable, or even unponder. Such a strange word usage. Love it. Good job, Dr. Oz. I'm going to ponderate on that for a while. Here is a dude that got his commercial driver's license supposedly from Minnesota, driving down a Missouri highway on the wrong side of the road.
How much of a winning issue it is.
18-wheeler going the wrong way down southbound 61. He is on the northbound lanes of 61 going the wrong way. You can see I'm going southbound on 61. He's in the northbound lanes on Highway 61.
Wow. I mean, frick, I wasn't planning on playing all of that, but holy crap. He was hauling ass. Wow. Wow. Jesus. FBI fires agents who worked on Trump's Mar-a-Lago investigation, supposedly. Is maybe true. I mean, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me, but supposedly there was 10 agents that were removed Wednesday. I think per a Politico rumored story. Whether it's true or not, don't know. Has to do with probably if they did get fired, it was because they did something they shouldn't have done, or they acted inappropriately, or politicized, or something. Whatever the case is. Again, it's a tough source to get stuff. The Hill is just very left-leaning, but they do sometimes cover stuff from an interesting angle. I don't know, every once in a while, or at least they bring up good subjects, and I just don't have to pay attention to how they spin it. All that said, Donald Trump truth this out. Great news for America and our wonderful White House. The judge on the case of what will be the most beautiful ballroom anywhere in the world has just thrown out and completely erased the effort to stop its construction. Suckers. So, yeah, that's a done deal. And no taxpayer money's going to it. It's going to be gorgeous. We've seen the pictures. Trump says they're ahead of schedule and under budget, too. He's going to show everybody, especially the Fed. You guys spent $2 billion on a renovation. I just built this White House ballroom with gold interior for $400 million. Or whatever it ends up being. College is trying to force this California professor to teach DEI and literally teach that DEI practices are correct, and he refuses to do so. He says it goes against his First Amendment rights. He has taken this all the way up to an appellate court, I believe. Or is this just a three-court panel? A 3-year-old lawsuit decision came out. And 2 California Code of Regulation provisions would require Johnson to employ teaching, learning, professional practices reflecting diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, or DEIA, as well as mandate the professor establish proficiency in DEI to teach or lead within California's community colleges. But the faculty institutes that the Johnson leads, let's see. Yes, free speech. I talked about that. So Johnson alleges that the DEIA regulations compel his speech. Judge Sheriff agreed with that concern and granted on February 20th Johnson's motion for a preliminary injunction that blocks college leaders from investigating, disciplining, or terminating the history professor based on any of his speech in the classroom, his scholarship, or as a private citizen. So that's that. Doesn't really tell us where this judge comes from, does it? U.S. District Judge. There it is. Okay. Well, that was a district judge wrote that. Yeah. I don't know who this judge. When I first saw it, Judge Sheriff confused. I was like, Sheriff? What? Huh? I was this whole damn article confused the hell out of me. It's one of the weirdly kind of put together, but a lot of information. All that said, they can't force him to do it. California's friggin' strange as hell. Bill Gates admits to affairs with Russian women. Lots being talked about with this. I don't know anything that slimes Bill Gates right now is beneficial in the big picture, I think. So I'll give this guy 2 minutes and 20 to see what he's got to say.
So that's possible espionage and a blackmail situation. Why is the prosecutor saying that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered?
Well,
why are they calling that a murder?
Yeah, this is something that's brand new. We just saw this document in the files from an assistant U.S. attorney. It raises all kinds of new questions related to this on top of crazy things we know about Jeffrey Epstein's death. And this follows a document that apparently was put together announcing his death that was dated actually the day before, which raised some eyebrows. We've seen video of a mysterious individual in orange making his way up the shoe stairwell at 10:30 the night of Jeffrey Epstein's death. I learned from the documents that the official inmate count that night dropped from 73 inmates to 72. The guard who dealt with that says now that they have no memory of why that inmate count changed. So there's a lot of suspicious things going on in addition to what we know about the medical examiner's office.
Yeah, we might show you that at a later date, that video of the guy in the orange. Why would the chief medical examiner have to sign an NDA after examining Epstein's body? Is that standard practice?
This is the first time we've seen this related to a giant case, but I can tell you some things that don't make sense from the medical examiner's office. We know that the chief medical examiner didn't perform the autopsy. She had an individual in her office perform the autopsy, and the noose that was at the center of this, Michael Bodden, the forensic pathologist who was hired by Jeffrey Epstein's brother to observe the autopsy, said that there was no blood on the noose, even though there's blood on Jeffrey Epstein's neck in the photographs. We're learning from the documents that the guard who cut Jeffrey Epstein down says he's not sure which noose was given to the investigators. And DNA testing was done. It may have been on the wrong ligature. It may have been done on the wrong noose.
Yeah. So again, back to Epstein didn't kill himself. It sounds like he was murdered. And it does sound like he very likely died the day before, and it took him a day to tell us. That's actually what it's starting to look like, in my opinion. I think that's why the thing was dated the day before. I think he actually died the day before, and then they kind of had a problem or something to that effect. Again, I don't think he's alive. I think a lot of people do. I mean, he could be. He could be. I am open to that for sure, but I don't think he is. I think they smoked him. I think Ghislaine Maxwell probably knows way more than this dude. I think she's actually more likely his handler. Supposedly, he had a chance. He was warned before the raid, Epstein, and he managed to be able to hide a whole bunch of, I guess, nude photos, videotapes, sex slave manuals, I guess. This is what they've got in quotes. Interesting choice of words. But yeah, they had a bunch of stuff that they put into storage, and the cops never found it. They didn't know about the storage until maybe later, until maybe recently. Who knows? Hopefully Kash Patel's obviously aware of it now. So I think they're digging into some of this stuff. I believe keeping the pressure on it, and it's going to keep coming from the Democrats, because they are being told by somebody that Trump is definitely in there, that there is bad stuff with Trump in there. I'm sure of it. And it's probably, in all honesty, it's a white hat probably telling them this, and it's someone they trust. And they're like, I swear to God, it's in there. I've seen it. I've seen it with my eyes. They're obviously holding it back. So then they get these people to talk about it more and more. Well, you got to release the files. You got to release the files. And then they release gobs of files. Now we've got multiple people that have quit their jobs. We've got another example for Harvard. We got all sorts of examples of people that have had to quit because of Epstein. Bill Gates is in a world of hurt. Africa's pulling away from the vaccine stuff. There's many, many, many things are starting to fall apart now because of this Epstein thing and how many people were involved in it. Ex-Treasury Chief Summers, he was Harvard. Over there, they rewarded him with that Harvard thing. Yeah, he had Epstein ties. He's now had to quit. And he was the ex-U.S. Treasury Chief. Isn't that a surprise? Larry Summers. Huh. That's for a job well done. I guess that's being taken away from him, isn't it? So again, we've tricked them time in and time out, over and over and over again. We tricked them not to stand for American citizens. They blew it. They completely blew it. And they can't help themselves. It's the funny thing about when somebody's in rage, they do stupid stuff. Like you'll knock them down and they'll get back, and they'll just start running at you again like a crazy person. They don't come at you with any sort of real, any finesse, right? Any sort of sneakiness. They're just flailing and screaming. I got an hour to figure out what I'm going to do. They can't help themselves. And it's so easy to push them into whatever corner we want. They are as predictable as possible. They are so programmed. They do exactly what you expect them to do. I mean, it's oddly fun to mess with them sometimes, but it's actually mean, you know. It's like taking a laser light with a cat. Like you can make that cat run back and forth for hours and just laugh your ass off. But that poor cat's about to have a heart attack. Hillary Clinton is testifying, I think, right now as we speak. It's a closed-door testify. But Bo Burr did something stupid and actually leaked a picture to Benny Hill show. There was supposed to be no press, nothing. She takes a picture and sends it to Benny Hill. Bo Burr, that was the stupidest thing ever. I can't stand politicians. They have just 99%. I'm sure almost all of them just disgust the fuck out of me. You are so about attention. I get it. You got to make your name somehow. You got to make sure somebody remembers you for something you did. This is definitely not the right thing. Colorado, whatever. That's just anyway. Cardi B, she is stepping back from her complicated relationship with Stefan Diggs. He's a Patriots player. And I'm kind of thinking that Cardi B and Jay-Z are really heavily tied up in the P. Diddy stuff and what's going on with our good friend Nicki Minaj. This is Nicki Minaj's little the chick she's at war with, and Jay-Z and Diddy. So it's interesting that these guys separated. My guess is somebody said, you need to get as far away from her as you can because the world's about to blow up around her. And it made it sound like it was all about Cardi B. I'm getting away because I need to focus on my kids and my music. And okay, cool. So there you go. And that works out. Guarantee she's about to get rocked. It's going to happen. We got our little four-legged fella that we love. Our little pets. I like, my neighbors have a couple dogs, and I don't give them any food. She'd probably kill me if I did that. I mean, the lady's a little odd as it is, but the dogs are cool as hell. It's sad is they'll wag their tail. I'm like, hey guys, and I'm like quiet because I know I'll get in trouble too. Like I know we're not supposed to talk. In fact, she has that on her door. She had mail that came to my house one time, and I'm like, I've never met the neighbor. Let's go over and meet the neighbor. This is a funny story. And so I go over there with the thing, and I hit the doorbell, ding dong, and then I look down at the sign that says, please do not ring the doorbell. And I was like, fuck. Needless to say, and we met. It was nice. She had something of mine, too, that she was probably never going to give me. Whatever the case was, it was great. But I talked to her dogs, and her dogs like wag their tail and like make little whiny noises, almost like they want to talk. And then they look back like they're going to get in trouble, and they get quiet. So I don't know. I don't know if they got little shock collars or what's up, but they're cute. Take care of pets. They're probably one of the greatest parts of our lives. I think, in fact, pets are way better than people. Dogs are way better than people. Cats are pretty cool, too. I don't really want to own them. They destroy everything, but they're cool little critters. All that said, you love something. Of course you do. Well, here's this thing. They've got this mushroom. It's called Coriolis versicolor. This mushroom has healing properties. It's actually super good for the immune system. It's good for people, too. In fact, they've got a section for people, but it's extraordinarily good with animals, too. You can't take too much of it. The more you get in you, the better it works out. In fact, there's, you guys heard of Baby Trump. He's running around talking about how he had a tumor, and he used large quantities of this product specifically. He even came on my show and talked about it. And used it to shrink the tumor to nothing. The doctors didn't know what the hell was going on. This Coriolis versicolor is a pretty amazing component of removing probably parasites, to be honest with you, but certainly some of the nasty things that seem to exist in our bodies. This is definitely one of the paths I would add to some others, especially if you're somebody that's troubled by the cancerous thoughts. Coriolis versicolor is one of those things that helps amazingly. And if you've got pets that have these same issues going on, this is an amazing product. And if you've got even pets that are younger and you want to keep them healthy, this is one of those things you want to keep in your body. You don't get tired of it. You can't overdo it. There's no anything like that. It's more an issue of just having a healthy diet for your pets. So they've got treats. It's a couple ways you can do it. Mush puppies. They've got, it's like a cookie, basically. Cats obviously don't like that, but dogs do. Mojo's dogs and cats like it. It's like a liver treat, and it's got the Coriolis versicolor in it. They got a couple different kinds of mush puppies. They've got freeze-dried foods. They've got it for dogs and cats. Healthy ingredients. That's one of the things that's amazing, too. A lot of us, if you look at the ingredients of the foods you're feeding your animals, or the toys, by the way, a lot of the toys come from China. China uses lead in the rubber that they make for their balls and stuff like that. Those things have lead in them. So again, careful what you get your little ones. They love them. They love the squeaky bouncies, but at the same time, they're not actually good for them. So we've got to think bigger sometimes, and the foods are another one of those things. Dog foods are just crap-ass quality foods in most cases. These aren't. These are like single-source ingredients type foods, like healthy, like that you would eat. In fact, healthier probably than what you would eat. Freeze-dried, they got it where you add some water, it gets bigger. So 1 pound becomes 5 pounds. Pretty cool way to do it. Also got special sauce if you've got a dog that needs extra calories or they just like a little gravy or whatever. That special sauce has the Coriolis versicolor in it. And it's kind of something you can put on top of maybe food they're already getting. Again, they got a couple other just regular kinds of food that aren't freeze-dried. They've got canned. For dogs and cats, by the way, all this stuff exists for dogs and cats. They're different for each, obviously. For dogs, the antler stick is really a cool thing, by the way. It's very healthy sticks. Dogs love sticks, period, right? It doesn't matter what kind of stick it is. Well, this stick, they chew on it, still does the good stuff with the teeth, but also what they grind up gets in their system, their body. It's that mineral. It's very good for them. So again, incredible products. danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That's danradiostyle.petclub247.com. Again, same kind of stuff for the cats. They got stuff for horses, mush ponies, and again, humans. They got pills. If you want to do it that way, the gummies are a fantastic way to get the Coriolis versicolor in your body, and they're really good gummies. Probably one of the best gummies I've ever had. They've got a coffee. They've got chocolate chip cookies, and oatmeal raisin cookies. So great stuff that they've got going on. Again, once again, it's danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That's danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That, again, healthy stuff, man. I'm all into that. I'm into things that are going to keep you alive longer and your pets alive longer, because that's the thing that hurts the most every time I think about, I had to put my dog down, man. That was the worst. I don't ever want to go through that again. Ever. All right, just because, I don't know, everybody's talking about Charlie Kirk. I can't wait to see how this gets spun, because frankly, to me, it just says what it says and nothing more. I don't read anything into this, but everybody will. But anyways, apparently 8 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, he released an internal memo of a Doge-style financial audit. So, again, this was a big question, that somebody was stealing money, possibly putting money in places it shouldn't be going, whatever the case was, right? That they were doing something with money. Now, a lot of people are blaming that on Erica Kirk. I've heard another individual that's been blamed, and I don't frankly know who, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if there's a bunch of truth to this. There was millions and millions and millions of dollars being moved through this organization. Charlie Kirk was extraordinarily successful at what he was doing. And because of that, it's a magnet to bad people, and it's impossible to make sure everyone around you is good. It just really is. So again, they are looking into this. I don't know what we're going to find out. I hope the truth. That's really all I care about. Did someone have Charlie Kirk killed? Almost assuredly. Is Charlie still alive? I'm going to say probably not. I think it's highly unlikely. Especially the best person's, well, it was kind of a silly, but everyone was saying it was a hologram, but I've shown hologram technology is not nearly far enough along for a projector. The best that looks real, and they do have stuff that looks very real and lifelike, but it literally had its own box. It was like a 3D TV, and it was amazing because they showed the real dude off on the side, and you could see inside the box. It looked real, but it was in the box. It was not a projector. They're long cry. The projectors, the technology sucks, really, compared to a real person. There's no way you would actually believe that was really Charlie Kirk using that technology. And maybe they had some sort of military whatever. People will start to expand it really far, and it's like, all right, but okay, what was Charlie going to do? Right? Like, so again, this whole thing's very strange to me. I heard even somebody, I'm going to say it, Nino, he's now saying that anybody that goes against what Candace Owens is saying, it's like choose your lane, like choose your side. And I guess I'm not on that side. I'm going to come out and say, Nino, I'm not on your side, I guess. I guess you're on the side of Candace Owens. I'm definitely not on her side. I think she's trying to take down TPUSA. TPUSA does good stuff. I'm going to say it over and over. Do they maybe have some bad people in it? Yeah. Nino, do you maybe have some bad people around you? Maybe. In fact, I'm pretty sure some of the people you have on your show are not good. So again, it's just interesting how this is playing out. And I'm just a small guy anyway. You can hate me for calling that out, but that's just, it's just a huge guy, right? And he's running around saying stuff like that. It's like, really? Wow, okay. We're going to be divisive? Okay, let's be divisive. Let's talk about it. That's where I stand with it. I certainly don't stand with Candace Owens. That's for damn sure. So I guess I'm on the other side, guys. I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, but that's where I'm standing right now. 10 Cuban nationals aboard the U.S. linked speedboat. This is a very weird story. Okay, so supposedly there were some dudes. There's a guy in Florida who supposedly knows these guys, but there was like 10 dudes in a speedboat that was registered to Florida. They got the number and everything that they've shared. And these guys were speeding into Cuba, and they were like a mile out from the specific area, and they were approached by the Border Patrol, and apparently they raised their weapons and fired at the Cuban Coast Guard, injuring their captain, and then they just laid waste, and 4 of the 10 dudes died. 6 of the remaining people are injured. So 4 dead, 6 injured. Sounds like everybody got shot, just not everybody died. I don't quite get this. This is even Marco Rubio, and I hope I have that still queued up. It's a good chance it should be the next thing. Hopefully it's still queued up. Anyway, I don't know. We'll find out. Fingers crossed. But this is very weird. This doesn't happen. This hasn't happened. I mean, Marco Rubio, I hope, is going to tell us why this was happening. Like, the dudes were heavily armed. They supposedly had munitions, body armor, all the stuff. Camouflage, telescopes, all the stuff. Crazy shit. This is what Cuba's telling us. Now, again, we don't believe them. I guess this might be good enough.
Yeah, I'm not going to spec.
No. I think we've got, yeah, here it is. Oh, cool. Did keep it queued up. Sweet.
We're made aware by.
So let's do this. This is 2 minutes 55 of him talking specifically about this.
We're made aware by Cuban authorities of an incident off the coast of Cuba. We immediately began to look into it. As it stands now, the Department of Homeland Security, the Coast Guard, others are involved. The majority of the information we still possess is what Cuban authorities are providing both the public and the U.S. government. We have our embassy on the ground in Havana working this as we speak, asking for access to the people that were on those vessels, if they were American citizens or permanent residents. According to the Cuban regime, that the boat was registered in Florida. We're tracking that down. We will know shortly, and we will know quickly, many more facts about this incident than we know right now. The majority of the facts being publicly reported are those by the information provided by the Cubans. We will verify that independently, and as we gather more information, then we'll be prepared to respond accordingly. I'm not going to speculate, because I'm not going to opine on what I don't yet know, but we're going to find out exactly what happened here, and then we'll respond accordingly. Okay? Any questions?
Have you been in touch with anyone in Cuba? And I mean, what's your...
Well, the authorities in Cuba, the border guard has constant contact with the Coast Guard, so they alerted them this morning. I was made aware of it at that time. Oftentimes in these incidents and things like this, the initial reports are incomplete, and then as the day has progressed, I think early this morning, certainly by 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. this time, maybe a little later our time here, I reached out and we began to look at it independently. We have various different elements of the U.S. government that are trying to verify elements of the story based on what's been provided to us now. I know that the Coast Guard has responded to the area, to the vicinity. I'll need to get more fidelity and understanding from them once I get on the airplane about what exactly they're looking for. I don't know who has possession of the vessel, which is the first thing we would want to have. We obviously want to have access to these people if they are American citizens or U.S. residents.
Have you spoken to any Cuban officials about this?
No, we haven't spoken directly about this now. No, I'm not going to comment about any conversations we've had on this topic. Suffice it to say, what it's important to be out there and everyone needs to know is that we're going to have our own information on this, and we're going to figure out exactly what happened. And there are a number of things that could have happened here. But I'm not even going to speculate as to what it could have been. It's a wide range of things. But suffice it to say, it is highly unusual to see shootouts in open sea like that. It's not something that happens every day. It's something, frankly, that hasn't happened with Cuba in a very long time. But we're going to find out. We're not going to base our conclusions on what they've told us. And I'm very, very confident that we will know the full story of what happened here, and we will know it soon. And then, we'll respond appropriately based on what that information tells us.
Yeah, so again, just nutsies going on. Yeah, what this ties into, don't know. Is this possibly some sort of incursion that they stopped? Again, I don't know. Was this meant to be a false flag? Possibly. Again, it's hard to say. Hard to say what's going on. Very strange. Iranian opposition group, it says it's attacked Khomeini's compound. There's some heavy clashes that have been going on out there. So some opposition group. They apparently caught 250 of them. Yeah, these guys are kind of getting killed. So it's something's got to happen, kind of, I think, from the United States side. Now, we are hearing that these are the demands supposedly brought to Iran in Geneva. 1, destroy all 3 nuclear sites, Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. 2, deliver all enriched uranium to U.S. 3, no sunset clauses. 4, zero enrichment, but can keep Tehran reactor. 5, minimal sanctions relief up front, more if Iran is compliant. So they're not okay with that. They want to continue their enrichment, and they certainly want to keep their missile program going. There's a lot of discussions around that as well. A lot of people saying that Trump claiming they're going to be able to hit the United States soon is ridiculous because their longest range missile right now is quite a ways from being able to hit our country. I would kind of agree with the assessment of Trump is it's not hard to add a second stage to a solid first stage. They've got some pretty good first stages, so it's not a big step, and they're already using multiple stage, so it's actually more capable. They just haven't built enough of it. You know what I mean? It's more possible than people probably realize. They just haven't focused heavily on that. A lot of their focus has been on U.S. bases in and around Iran and all of that kind of region, right? Protecting their homeland more so than anything. And it's been homegrown. All that said, this article kind of breaks down all the different sites that they're talking about. This is the Natanz enrichment plant here. Before the strike, after the strike, it was pretty messed up. Under construction. Now they've got paneling complete. So supposedly they've come a long way. This was as of February 9th. They've come a long way as to rebuilding the Natanz area, which is where I think this is the light water unit supplied a lot of the isotope production and research, operated on low enrichment stuff. So this is one of their research reactors. The Fordo site is buried deep in a mountain. Hardened site was Iran's key location for higher level enrichment, up to 60%. Israeli strikes caused some damage, but the B-2s really took it down the last bit. They dropped stuff pretty much down shafts and then followed it with a secondary bomb. The Esfahan nuclear complex, the tunnel entrance has been sealed with earth after at first, I think, but the site, I think they're rebuilding and reopening that up, but this is where a lot of the uranium conversion from yellow cake to an actual gas, which is what then they can centrifuge out. All that said, these are the key locations, and then of course they've got this other place, a heavy water reactor site, Arak, I guess, or Kondab, however, I don't know. But yeah, it is a heavy water reactor. These are places that, this might be the one that they say they can keep. Curious if it is. But it's power, and power does actually, you can kind of create some of the materials, to my understanding, within these reactors. It was kind of what Y-12 did. I don't fully understand it, but anyway, Y-12 was the reactor, I believe, in Oak Ridge is the name of that one. One of the key ones, anyways, in the manufacturing of the good stuff for the Manhattan Project. Hezbollah is going to stay out of the U.S.-Iran fight if U.S. strikes are kind of limited. So Hezbollah has basically said, we won't retaliate. We're out of this. We don't have any horse in this, as long as you don't do anything stupid or crazy. I'm sure Turkey's saying something similar. Pentagon removes Director of Joint Staff, sends him back to the Navy role. Now, this is funny because it's the Hill, and this is a great example of where you got a nugget hidden inside a story where they're trying to smear a good thing. And they don't even really get the story, so I'm going to do my best on this one. Pentagon removes Director of Joint Staff, sends him back to Navy. Let's talk about who this dude was. Vice Admiral Fred Katcher. He became the Director of the Joint Staff in December. He was yanked from the post and will return to service with the Navy, a spokesperson told The Hill. Quote, a distinguished and highly experienced surface warfare leader. He's in the Navy. Surface warfare means ships, naval ships. What do we have right now in Iran? We've got 2 aircraft carrier groups in 2 different areas. He is a surface Navy warfare master. He's a genius. They borrowed him. They put together a plan. This is likely going to involve the Navy, and they want to make sure they don't lose any ships with the potentiality of the missiles that are going to be attacking them, and the drones, for that matter, that will be attacking them. Now, they're in more or less open water, and a carrier traveling at full speed is capable of a lot, and it travels with a bunch of ships that are capable of helping defend it. So carriers are not as... carriers have a lot of options to defend themselves, a lot. Even if a hypersonic missile shot at them, if we have notice of its launch, and carrier's just going to put into a hardcore pattern, full speed, and it will become a target that's hard to hit by that missile. That missile will have a hard time hitting it. It might not. Now, we're probably not going to shoot it down, but it might not hit the carrier either. They're hard to hit when they're moving that fast. A lot of the software these guys have doesn't track that well. Ships are hard to hit. They're not where they were a second ago. Tanks and shit are like that too, but yeah, generally you can lock onto something that's unique compared to the ground around it. So this guy put together what he needed. They sent him back where he's at. Then General Dan Kane praised Catcher for his dedicated service. And he gives him a big old hearty, like, did a good job, cheers. And so none of this is a bad thing. They're going to try to spin it. The bad guys are going to try to spin it. It wasn't. It was a great thing. Incredible thing, in fact. Viktor Orban deploys troops to guard energy sites in his country. He's guarding them from, who do you think? From Ukraine. From Europe. These are the sites where they're actually getting their energy from Russia. And they're now going to have to guard these sites because they know Europe/Ukraine is going to try to destroy them, to punish Hungary and Slovakia because they get Russian oil. The deep state is so horrible in every way they possibly could be. Apparently Spain's spinning out of control right now. They actually, I didn't know, had a civil war back in 1936. Holy crap, not that long ago. And it was bad. They talked about some really horrible stuff. Even some people made some people drink gas or motor oil before burning them alive. That's just gnarly. They cut people apart and then kill them. Pretty horrible. We're such a weird group of beings that just are so oddly okay with death. It's so strange how we justify killing other human beings as easily as we do. I mean, it's like one of the first commandments, thou shalt not kill. It's right up there, right? I forget which number it is. But are you, I mean, like, well, he didn't mean it always. It's like, more killing's been done in the name of God, too, which is the best part of it. Like, we're all God's children, all of us. Whether they call God a different name or not, it's still God's children. I don't get it. Spain government, spinning out of control. Who knows what's going to happen? Europe's falling apart big time. Polls are freaking out right now because they got these tinderbox special elections. Probably some stupid reason why they use tinderbox, but needless to say, maybe because it's about to catch a fire. But the towns are Gorton and Denton. They're apparently in Manchester, and they're voting to select their member of parliament in a 3-horse race. They're expecting likely will pick up some Farage action here. We'll see. See how that plays out. I don't know. Nigel Farage definitely does seem like the guy that's supposed to be there, like the Trumpish individual of England, but who knows? Who knows? SpaceX. They reveal new details about their next-gen cell service. So they're actually got this new self-service, 150 megabits per second per user, which is very good. That's actually very good. I mean, it's like a really, really good wireless is about 500 megabits per second. And so really good, I've got 1 gigabit, but I could actually go higher. You can get, I think I can get 2 or 3 even gigabits, which is ridiculous. One's stupid fast. Uploading is the tough part. Only so many people will accept the upload at the max speed you can give it. In fact, cheers on Brighteon. They are the best, man. They will suck up whatever speed you will give to them. It's pretty cool. All that said, pretty neat. We'll see. New phones would be awesome. They're talking about how they're going to have new extra satellites. I don't know. My guess is they're just going to add a lot of this shit to the standard software that already exists on the Starlink platform. Like, why would you need extra hardware? I would feel like a lot of the hardware should be legit already. It's just an issue of what's keyed to receive it and talk to it. So I think Musk was smart all along when he started building this. I don't think they literally have to, we got to send up new satellites. No, you don't. I'm sure the satellites that are up there are fine. But they'll keep adding them because they need to. Hackers apparently used Anthropic's Claude AI to breach Mexican government, stole some sensitive data, supposedly. They've been doing this for well over a month, and they apparently were using the cyber AI platform to look for weaknesses in Mexico and found them. So that's, again, amount of power you can give to an individual is something that should be dialed back. But like the problem that the Pentagon's having, there should be no restrictions on the software for military. I don't think there should be any. And I know a lot of people are like, but Dan, it's going to be Skynet. It's most likely not. I know a lot of people want to believe that, but we win this battle. The AI is just here to help us. AI is not benevolent. AI is not better than you. AI is able to pull a lot of stuff together and can save you a crap ton of time, especially if it gets good enough to be accurate. And if it actually tells you it can't find something rather than make shit up. But AI is a tool, right? You know, if you ask a carpenter, hey, what do you think of a hammer? They're like, dude, I love them. They're great. I use it every day. And if you ask Paul Pelosi, hey, what do you think of a hammer? He's like, I hate them. They suck. I get it. But it's still a tool. We've got to be careful on tying our hands behind our back, because I guarantee you our enemy is not doing that. Our enemy will make Skynet. We should at least have something that's capable of holding us back, keeping track of it, capable of processing whatever it's doing as fast as it is, and hopefully having counter moves, right? Like, do you really want to limit that? Now, the one that we allow people to use, dude, that should be limited hardcore, because, again, people will use it to rob banks, people will use it to steal passwords, people will use it for all sorts of nefarious shit, please. That's, in fact, going to be one of the scariest things. People with crypto wallets, God bless, help you all. God help you all, because you're going to need one hell of a password to cinch that up. Cindy McCain, she's just another person that's dropped. I don't know if she's related to John McCain, I wonder. But she's with the World Food Program, spelled with an M-E at the end, of course. So obviously she's British or some weird thing where they got to add extra letters for no fudging reason. Whatever. They got to be thorough. Serving this incredible organization has been a great honor of a lifetime, yada, yada, yada. I got to quit because my health's not good, blah, 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 blah. So Cindy McCain stepping out, just keeping track of bingo cards. Maybe you got her name on your card. Don Lemon's getting hit with a civil suit for severe emotional distress. In fact, just me having to see him on camera or on TV has given me emotional distress. This just happens accidentally. It's not like I'm looking for him. Whatever, the church thing, they're going after him, civil stuff, which is cool. He might actually get rocked on those, especially depending on where they file the suit. If it's in St. Paul, I hope they get a good judge. We'll see. I mean, I have zero faith in our Congress. I have zero faith in our judicial, and I've got epic faith in our executive right now. That's unfortunately it. Which is funny because we got a good chunk of the population that has Trump derangement syndrome, so. They trust the other two branches more than the one. So maybe eventually we can get our Congress to stop sucking. I don't know. I don't know if it's possible. I hope it is. Sounds like there's a couple good ones up there that are trying. Something interesting. At least they're getting closer, in my opinion, to the age of this. But the Giza pyramids, the coolest pyramids on the planet, I think. The Giza pyramids could be as much as 12,000 years old, and built by a lost advanced civilization, according to independent researcher. They're older than that. My understanding is they predate the fall of Atlantis. Atlantis finished falling, I want to say, around 12,500 years ago, and it started, I want to say, around 16,000 years ago, or at least the initial beginnings of that falling. And so these were likely built prior to that. So again, they're getting closer. But these were built for to be records. They're built for a lot of things. There's also some very cool stuff that can be done when the King's Chamber was where it was. You could do, I think it was Kings or Queens, I forget which one. One of them was programming, the other one was kind of more of a spiritual thing. I think it's King's Chamber for the spiritual thing. But anyway, whatever. There's some really, really cool stuff that you can do. You can go down to the very bottom. There's a lot of people that have literally died down there because of fear. The pyramid itself allows amplification of kind of like spiritual energies. It's so crazy. And certain places within the pyramid operate certain ways. It is something that has been talked about quite a bit on the Law of One. But yeah, the pyramids are fantastic and something I've always been fascinated with. They are amazing feats of nature. We literally couldn't build them today. We couldn't build them today, not to the precision. The London Griffith Observatory was built to precision, to true north, south, east, west, It is off by 7 arc minutes of a degree or something weird like that. The pyramids at Giza are off by like 4 arc minutes of a degree. They're even more accurate than the thing we built. And not to mention that this is the stones that are stuck together where you couldn't even get a piece of paper between them. So this is definitely something that I think is fascinating. People talk about Tartaria. I think the people that built the pyramids are the people that built Tartaria. I think it's the same people. Yeah, I just think there was some very magnificent stuff that existed at one point and had been buried after floods and all sorts of crazy stuff happened. And for the most part, they survived. Apparently back then they knew how to make something last. But yeah, I don't know. Crazy shit. I love the woo. Always will. May not always agree with some of the crazy woo that people come up with these days. It's pretty trippy. It's true. It was weird being into conspiracy shit like 40 years ago, 30 years ago, because like hardly anyone was into it, kind of, So you were just like a nut, and you were really careful about who you talked to. But there wasn't a lot of info. Like it wasn't taken down as quick, I should say. There was a lot of info, but it wasn't taken down as quick. And it's just weird how much extra info has popped out of all sorts of crazy places these days. Some of it good, some of it, I don't know. But it's very interesting how this is playing out. This is a great time to be alive. I'm so excited. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm going to keep talking about it every day. We're going to do this together. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.